A few minutes ago, we reported on some new legislation aimed at curtailing the scourge of human trafficking that lawmakers recently approved and sent to the governor for his signature. Well, Governor Abbott is again joining us live from Austin tonight to talk about that and hopefully some other things as well. But Governor, I understand that there was no serious opposition to this human trafficking measure and that you intend to make it law here in Texas.
I do. I look forward to signing it. It's important to recognize that one of the leaders of this legislation was Todd Hunter, who is a state representative from the Corpus Christi region.
Right.
And he addressed a very important issue, which is one reason why it got so much support, and that is it cracks down on the scourge of human trafficking and especially focuses on protecting teens from being lured into human trafficking. Teens who are more vulnerable, who are perhaps more likely to be lured into this. And so, for one, it ensures that no one under the age of 18 is permitted inside a sexually owned business, and no one under the age of 21 can work inside
Governor,
a sexually owned business. So this ensures that we will have tools and strategies to make sure that we will be able to keep these young teens or people under the age of 21 outside of these sexually owned businesses.
What are the penalties if someone is caught under the age of 18 there?
So these are high misdemeanors, but they are subject to potential jail time. But here's something that's very important. What we look for is for these teens, if they were to do this, for them to cooperate with us to help us also prosecute the adults who lured them into this situation.
Okay. If it's okay with you, I'd like to touch on a couple of other subjects with
Sure.
regard to the legislature. The lawmakers have until May 31st to get their work done, unless you call a special session. Does that seem likely at this point?
I got to tell you, the way the Texas House and Texas Senate are working both so productively and so collaboratively, they are addressing all of the major issues, and we are on track to make sure that we do get most meaningful legislation passed this session that would avoid a special session. So far, so good, but there's still a whole lot of work to do over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Sure. One thing that's been getting a lot of attention is voter reform, and that has not been completed in Texas, but trying to follow a number of other red states. How do you respond to folks who say, listen, there's no security issue here, there's no voter fraud to speak of? Why are we making it more difficult for minorities to vote? Why are we adding these regulations that are solving a problem that doesn't exist?
First, let's be clear that Texas is not acting and following other states and not acting in response to this past election, except for some things that happened in Harris County. Texas has been focused on election integrity for a long time, and I can tell you there's evidence out of Corpus Christi that shows the magnitude of the issue we're trying to address. The main issue we are trying to address concerns mail-in ballot fraud. And there was a federal district judge in Corpus Christi appointed by Barack Obama who wrote in her opinion deciding the case about voter ID that voter fraud does take place in abundance with regard to absentee ballots, which are the mail-in ballots. And so even a federal judge appointed by Barack Obama recognizes that there is greater need for greater security with regard to mail-in ballots, and that is the primary thing that we are working to correct.
Governor, I wish there were more time because there's so many other topics I'd like to get to, but I appreciate your joining us live from Austin tonight.
I'll be back.
Fair enough.